My name is Sabrina, and today I am doing my presentation on tetanus. I chose this disease because I always heard this word a lot growing up, but I never knew exactly what it meant. So we will talk more about that. Tetanus is not a communicable disease. It's not spread from person to person. It's contracted through wounds or cuts. It's found in soil or animal feces mostly. The name for tetanus is Clostridium tetani. It's also called lockjaw. A lot of people call it this because 99% of people, when they get this, when they have a muscle spasm, it mostly affects their jaw. Tetanus belongs to the bacteria kingdom. It is gram-positive, and tetanus is a bacterial disease that mostly affects muscles and the nerves in your body. It causes muscle stiffness that usually always involves the jaw and neck, and then progresses to other parts of the body. This gets so serious that it sometimes results in death. Tetanus is rare in the U.S., but only because of vaccines. It mostly occurs in older people and people who work closely with animal feces. Tetanus spreads through wounds and cuts, not by person to person, which I think I had already mentioned. There is a prevention for tetanus. It is very recommended that you get the vaccine, but there's no cure once you have it. It pretty much just has to run its course. The tetanus shape is actually a rod-shaped body with spores. Tetanus is not a pandemic because, it's not spread from person to person. Tetanus is sporadic. It's unusual because it doesn't have a lab test that can be performed. Doctors just make these diagnoses based on symptoms. 50% of people that get tetanus and don't get treated will pass away. Something else I found out with this is the first recorded case of tetanus was in Greece, and it was named stiffness of the body. Tetanus's mode of transmission is through the spores of the bacterium. When infection of a cut or wound occurs is when it spreads. The tissues affected by this are usually the nervous system tissues and the central nervous system. When somebody gets tetanus, it mostly just results in painful muscle spasms and stiff, immovable muscles, tension around your mouth, difficulty swallowing, rigid abdominal muscles. Tetanus can have complications, and most of the time that results in breathing issues and blockage of lung arteries, sometimes pneumonia, and even broken bones from the intense spasms. When this happens, sometimes people can, pass away from this. So it even results in death. Tetanus requires emergency and long-term care while the disease runs its course. Wounds need to be cleaned, and medicines are given to ease the symptoms. Now, after you get over tetanus, they do want to give you the vaccine for it, which mostly is given after the symptoms ease, just to protect you from getting it again. The vaccine is the DTaP disease. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of that. It protects against tetanus and pertussis and diphtheria, and it's followed by booster shots throughout life. One thing I never considered was how tetanus ever happened. I was always told as a kid to be careful around, rusty things, or I'd have to go get a tetanus shot. To find out that tetanus is caused by other factors blew my mind. Most people don't even get tetanus from rusty items. Like, they can, and it has been known, but most of the time it's because animal feces, soil, stuff like that got into a cut that people had. It can even be the smallest cut, like even a paper cut can result in someone getting tetanus. Um, Consideration. Um, One thing I never considered, once again, was how this even happened. I never understood even what a tetanus shot was to go along with what I just said. I just listened to the people who told me that and stayed away from rusty things. And there are my references. There was also some fun facts about tetanus, like Greece being its, first place of diagnosis, and how they called it stiffness of the body. I thought that was crazy because now they still say that tetanus is not as bad in other countries, but it also says that it's rare in the U.S., but other countries don't have the vaccines like the U.S. does. Back in the day, tetanus happened a lot more than it does today. Tetanus, also going back to this slide where it says lockjaw, there has been so many people that lost their teeth over tetanus where their jaw had locked up. Sorry, I have fun facts written to say, and I lost track of those. If children get tetanus, it is not as bad as adults. Research studies say that they still don't know why, because, smaller children, they think that the side effects should be worse, but they're not, and they still want kids to get the shot as well as adults. The muscle spasms have led to people having muscle cramps for, the rest of their lives that never went away. You can also get tetanus from burns, not just, soil, dust, animal feces, rust. If you get a burn and it leaves exposed skin, it makes the opportunity for infected spores to get inside of your body. You're supposed to dress and clean wounds properly after you get burnt, and you can even get it from frostbite as well. And then there has only been half the amount of children that has been diagnosed with tetanus as adults, and that's even before they've gotten their boosters. I think that is all I have to say about tetanus. It was a very interesting disease that I hadn't really thought about deeply before, like I did with this presentation. I look forward to listening to all of your guys' presentations as well.